If you feel like something foundational, something really matters to you, you should probably communicate that as much as you can in a respectful and healthy way, and in a way that brings peace to both parties. Hey, Bisi here. This is the Legit Podcast. I appreciate you so much for riding with me, for tuning into this episode. And I want to celebrate you for doing the work, putting in the investment to develop yourself in just different areas and aspects, because we want to do better, not just know better, but we also want to change the narrative and the status quo and just do life better for ourselves, the younger ones, for our families, and for our future, and for our now, our present. So thank you so much, and I celebrate you. Now, today I wanted to talk about communication in a relationship. I also do want to talk about communication with God and with self, maybe in other episodes, but in this particular one, communication in a relationship, or communication with your partner. As they say, a lot of people say that is different for everybody, right? Specific for every couple, but a lot of people do say that communication is the key to a healthy relationship. However, I feel like it really is understanding communication, understanding how you communicate and understanding how your partner communicates. That can help solidify a healthy relationship. So let's get right into it. The first thing I want to touch on is listening to understand versus listening to respond. Maybe you may have heard this before, but really, I have found out that sometimes when somebody is speaking, I hear what they're saying, but I'm not really listening. Not even in an argument, but just generally when they're speaking, how they're communicating, what they're feeling, or whatever it is that you're trying to explain. Do I understand it? One way of ensuring that you actually understand where they're coming from is explaining how you understand. So saying, well, what I hear you saying is, and repeat what they said right back to you. I don't mean when you're having a conversation, but maybe when they're trying to express their feelings to you. What you want to say is, what I hear you saying is blank, 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 and repeat it back to them just to gain perspective. And they will let you know if it landed properly, the way they were trying to express it. And I find it really insightful, because sometimes we're saying something and we don't even know how to articulate it. So that really helps in explaining how you understand it. The second thing you want to do is giving your partner, or anybody in general, is the gift of undivided attention. Listen, y'all, we're in a fast-paced era where we're always distracted. We want to keep up, FOMO, the fear of missing out. And so even when we're present with our loved ones, we're not really present. We're distracted. And especially for somebody who's I think it might, I don't know, some people may not mind, but for somebody whose love language is quality time, that hurts to the core. Like, even if they're explaining something as minute, you're having a minute conversation, like it's nothing big, and you're distracted, it hurts. And maybe I should touch on love language and some other things in another episode. But so just giving, I think anybody in general, you should be able to give the gift of undivided attention, phones away, TV off, and listen. And honestly, it is so interesting what you can glean and get from that. The third thing you should probably think about is what brings peace to both parties, realizing that you are both on the same team. And so I don't know if you've heard people say, do you want to be right, or do you want to be married? Do you want to be right, or do you want to be in this relationship? So at the end of the day, it's not about whether you're right or they're right. Everybody's right in their own eyes, but what brings peace to both parties, right? You guys are on the same team. And this brings me to something I recall, which goes like, love is not just looking in each other's eyes and, being mesmerized and I'm on cloud nine and into each other's hearts, but also looking in the same direction. So at the end of the day, as we're in community, we're all looking to God, right? And emulating the character of Jesus. But when you're in a relationship with somebody, y'all have to have a common goal, a common vision. And so when things do sprout up, going back to, well, what's the goal here? Do we have a common goal? Are we aligned in purpose? And what's the goal for having this discussion? Where is it leading us to? Not sweating too much over the little things. I remember that when I was married, one of the advice I was given was choose your battles, and it's advice out there, but choose your battles, right? And so if something is not going to matter in 5 years, like, don't even sweat over it. And then also there's something called over communicating, where there are certain people that have the tendency to communicate every single detail. And that comes to the choosing your battles. If some things would not matter in 5 years, then there's no need to sweat over it, right? And also don't under communicate the big things. And so if you feel like something foundational, something really matters to you, you should probably communicate that as much as you can in a respectful and healthy way, and in a way that brings peace to both parties. And then also wisdom, and when we do communicate different things. So texting versus having a conversation, versus having a conversation on FaceTime, versus having a conversation in person, right? There's certain things or certain conversations that you just can't have over text. Like it's such a drag. It doesn't really communicate, feelings or perspective. Like, if you think about it already, even when we're face to face, it's hard to read certain things, right? And so just discerning what is okay to have, what kind of conversation is good to have over text, over a phone call, or in person. And also having wisdom to know when to communicate and how to communicate what it is that you're communicating, right? Sometimes you want to wait. If it's an argument, it's a heavy thing. Sometimes you want to wait till the person is actually comfortable and settled and eaten and happy, and just feeling good. And then communicating it in the softest, most loving way possible. Like, again, love is not just looking into each other's eyes and being dazzled by each other, but also looking in the same direction. And so being able to communicate that same direction. So being able to communicate that at a right time, and also saying it the right way. And this seeps into the power of the tongue. There is life and death in the tongue. And this is something that I have experienced for myself, because way back there were moments where I was somebody who, I didn't think I was such a talker. It's so funny that I'm podcasting now. I didn't really think I was much of a talker, but if I do need to upload something, I will, and I didn't always do that in the wisest way, in the right way, with the right tone, at the right time. And so one time I actually did go to God about it. And I was like, God, you've given me my tongue for a reason, and I really need you to show me how to use it right. And that's why I said it's funny that I'm podcasting now, but he gave me a bunch of scriptures, and you may know some of them. Let everyone be quick to hear and slow to speak and slow to be angry. And if you look at even that scripture, hear comes first before speaking, before you even get angry, right? So before you even get angry, there's also let no corrupt talk come out of your mouth, but what is good, building up in the right occasion to give grace to the people that hear it. And so in the right occasion, building up and bringing grace to give grace. There's also a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Let your words be gracious, seasoned with salt, so you may know how to answer everyone. And in Proverbs, it also talks about how gracious words are like honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and brings healing to the bones. And all these tips and things, listen, it's easier said than done. It is And so it's not something that you wait until a major thing is happening that, oh, let me go, no, it's something that we should exercise every day, even with ourselves, how we speak to ourselves, right? How we understand what's going on. So, even when joking and laughing and just having a chill time, listening to understand, having undivided attention, and speaking things that build up rather than tearing down. And then also things that are just so sweet to hear and brings healing. Like sometimes words can just make you feel healed in parts that you didn't even know were burning, like honestly. So these are things that we want to exercise. What you exercise consistently every day really builds up to the big things. And so this is what I want to leave you guys with. I really hope that it helps somebody, and I also want to implore you to send this to somebody that you feel like this may help. Maybe it was not for you, and if it was, I want to commend you for and celebrate you for doing the work and doing better and trying to do better, just not know better. So thank you so much for listening, and if you rocked with me right till this second, type in the comments, understanding how to communicate. Understanding how to communicate. Think about it, we're all coming from different walks of life. Even if you're of the same culture, there's still things that you grew up understanding in a way that your partner doesn't. I have an episode that talks about our attachment styles and daddy issues. And so even in that, there has to be understanding in how things are communicated and how things are received. So it is a necessary thing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Connect with me. I want to hear from you. It really does help me provide relevant content. If you do have any questions, any suggestions, anything you want me to touch on, be sure to email info@thelegityou.com or connect with me on Instagram. But until the next one, I'll see you later.